Welcome back to the channel Rare Coins History. Today, we're diving into a truly iconic piece of American numismatic history, the United States Washington quarter $1776 to 1976, complete with its mint mark. This coin is anything but ordinary. It's a symbol of national pride, craftsmanship, and, if you're lucky, an astonishing value you might not expect. Stick around, because by the end, you'll find out just how remarkable this coin can be. Let's travel back to the bicentennial era. In celebration of the 200th anniversary of America's independence, the U.S. Mint did something extraordinary. In 1975 and 1976, no standard quarters were minted. Instead, a special design was introduced to mark the nation's bicentennial, a design that endures today in collectors' hearts and wallets. The coin features an enthralling obverse, George Washington's portrait unchanged, but the reverse showcases a magnificent design with a colonial drummer boy and a lit torch framed by 13 stars, a tribute to the original colonies. It's not just a coin, it's a celebration in metal. For more than a decade earlier, the Washington quarter had featured George Washington's portrait on the obverse and an eagle on the reverse. But in 1975 and 1976, the Mint introduced this stunning new reverse design while retaining the obverse. A gift to future generations and collectors. What's more, the coin's dual dates, 1776 to 1976, and a small mint mark, the letter P, D, or S, depending on where it was struck, make each piece unique. Philadelphia coins carry no mint mark, Denver coins have a D, and San Francisco proof coins have an S. That tiny letter is a big clue to a coin's origin, and often, to its rarity and value. Although most bicentennial quarters were minted in massive numbers for general circulation, a surprising number were preserved in uncirculated condition or created as high-quality proof pieces. The proof versions, struck at the San Francisco Mint, were polished and carefully pressed, resulting in mirror-like surfaces and beautifully crisp details. These examples are especially prized by collectors, but what really captures numismatists' attention are the rarer variants and mint errors. Imagine a quarter with a double die, where lettering or the drummer's arm appears doubled. Or a coin with an off-center strike that leaves part of the design cut off. These mistakes are rare, but when they happen, they elevate a coin to near-mythic status. Minting anomalies create one-of-a-kind pieces that collectors crave. So much depends on condition, too. A bicentennial quarter in circulation might show signs of wear, but an uncirculated or proof coin, sharp, lustrous, and blemish-free, can sell for hundreds or even thousands more. Coins graded at MS 65 or higher often become the focus of serious collectors and investors. Over time, collectors have also noted certain subtle features that can drive up the value, such as variations in the details of the drummer, the torch, or how deeply the designer struck the coin, details that sometimes differ between mints or print runs. But here's the moment you've been waiting for. If you've come across a Washington quarter 1776 to 1976 with a mint mark, in uncirculated condition, or one that shows a notable error or exceptional proof quality, then brace yourself, because this piece has been known to fetch a staggering $279,300, yes, $279,300 for a single quarter. It's an extraordinary reminder that small American coins can hold big historical significance, and even bigger collector value. So the next time you come across a bicentennial Washington quarter, take a closer look. Check the mint mark, examine the quality, and consider whether it might be more than just spare change. It could be a treasure. Today's episode takes us back to the late 1970s, an era of disco, Star Wars, and pocket change that could be worth more than your entire music collection. We're diving deep into the fascinating story of the United States of America Washington quarter dollar from 1979 with a mint mark. This coin, though common at a glance, could hold a shocking secret. It may be worth thousands, and we mean serious thousands. Stay with us all the way to the end, because that's when we'll reveal just how much the rarest version of this coin has fetched on the market. You're going to want to check your coin jar after this one. Let's set the stage. The year is 1979. Jimmy Carter is in the White House, the U.S. is battling inflation, and Americans are watching inflation climb while the cost of gas and everyday items spike. Amid all of this economic uncertainty, the U.S. Mint continued its job of producing billions of coins to keep the economy flowing: quarters, pennies, nickels, dimes. And among these, the Washington quarter stood out as one of the most circulated and widely recognized coins in the country. Since 1932, the Washington quarter has featured a proud portrait of George Washington on the obverse side, originally sculpted by John Flanagan. By 1979, this design had become iconic, instantly recognizable to nearly every American. But while the basic design remained the same, not every Washington quarter is created equal. And some, like the one from 1979 with a specific mint mark and certain features, are exceptionally valuable. So what makes a 1979 Washington quarter so special? First, let's talk about mint marks. The 1979 Washington quarters were minted in three main locations: Philadelphia, no mint mark; Denver, D, and San Francisco, S. While the Philadelphia and Denver versions were primarily used for circulation, the San Francisco Mint was known for producing proof coins, high-quality coins made especially for collectors. Here's the exciting part: the 1979 Washington quarter comes in two types, Type 1 and Type 2, and this detail alone could dramatically affect the value of your coin. Type 1 has a blob-like S mint mark that's less defined, while Type 2 has a much clearer and more distinct S. Why does this matter? Because Type 2 was only produced later in the year and in much smaller numbers. That scarcity makes it far more valuable to collectors, but the mint mark isn't the only thing to keep your eye on. Condition is everything. A 1979 Washington quarter that's been in circulation is worth, well, about 25 cents, maybe slightly more if it's in good shape. But a pristine, uncirculated, or high-grade proof coin? That's a whole different story. Coins graded MS-65, MS-67, or even higher, especially by reputable grading services like PCGS or NGC, are the ones that fetch the big bucks. These coins have never seen a vending machine. They've been carefully preserved, untouched, and free of blemishes or nicks, and then, of course, there are mint errors. Oh yes, those wonderful, unexpected mistakes that happen during the coin production process. Some 1979 Washington quarters may have off-center strikes, double dies, planchet errors, or even transitional mistakes. These rare mint errors can drive collectors wild and raise a coin's value astronomically. Imagine finding a quarter with doubled lettering, a missing layer, or an off-metal strike. These rarities are not only fascinating to look at, they are incredibly lucrative. There are also a handful of well-documented 1979 quarters that were struck on other coin planchets entirely, like a quarter struck on a nickel planchet. These mistakes create unique, one-of-a-kind coins that collectors dream of adding to their collections. Now, let's talk about the reverse side, the eagle. While this side didn't change drastically in 1979, collectors always look closely at the feather details, the spacing of the letters, and even the strike strength. A deeply struck eagle with crisp features is far more desirable than a weakly struck one. Every little detail counts when determining value. Collectors are also fascinated by full step, full bell line, and full drum equivalents in other coins, and for Washington quarters, crisp detail in the eagle's wings and claws is the gold standard. So maybe now you're wondering, how do I know if my quarter is worth anything? Great question. The first thing you should do is inspect your coin carefully. Look for the mint mark. Is it a D, S, or none at all? Is the coin uncirculated or does it show signs of wear? Does anything seem different? Does the design look doubled? Is there a noticeable strike error? Next, if you suspect you've got something special, consider getting it graded by a professional coin grading service. A certified grade can dramatically boost a coin's resale value and make it easier to auction or sell. You might also compare it against auction listings or visit coin shows where expert dealers can help identify your coin's true market potential. And now, the moment you've all been waiting for. What is the absolute highest known value of a 1979 Washington quarter dollar with a mint mark? Drumroll, please. A rare 1979 Washington quarter with a strong mint mark, uncirculated condition, and rare mint. Error has sold for an astonishing $119,300, yes, you heard that right. One single quarter. Just 25 cents when it was minted. And now? Worth more than a brand new luxury car or a down payment on a house. This is why coin collecting is so thrilling. That spare change sitting on your desk, hiding in your glove compartment, or tossed into a jar could be worth a fortune. And it all starts with knowledge, curiosity, and a sharp EYE.so. If you haven't already, go check your quarters. Look closely. That 1979 Washington quarter might not be ordinary after all. Today, we're diving deep into the mystery, value, and incredible history of a coin that most Americans have likely held in their hands without realizing its hidden potential. We're talking about the 1965 Washington quarter dollar, specifically, the version with no mint mark. This isn't just a story about a piece of pocket change, it's about how one small object from your coin jar could unlock a gateway into the fascinating world of numismatics, history, and maybe even big money. So sit back, grab your coin collection, and stay with us to the very end. You won't believe how much this coin can be worth. Let's start with the backdrop. The year was 1965. America was a country in transformation. The space race was heating up, the Vietnam War was intensifying, and pop culture was exploding across TV screens and radio waves. And in the background, quietly but significantly, a revolution was taking place in the world of U.S. coinage. For decades, quarters had been made of 90% silver and 10% copper. But with silver prices skyrocketing, it became more expensive to mint a quarter than the coin was actually worth. This created a crisis. People began hoarding coins for their silver content, and the U.S. government knew they had to act fast. 1965 marked a major shift. That year, the mint removed silver from circulating quarters and replaced it with a copper-nickel-clad composition. It was a new era of coin production, one designed for economy and sustainability. But as always, during times of transition, anomalies and rarities tend to sneak through the cracks, and that's where the 1965 Washington quarter without a mint mark comes into the spotlight. Now, here's what makes this particular coin so interesting. First, the absence of a mint mark. In 1965, the U.S. Mint removed all mint marks from coins to discourage hoarding and collecting during this transitional period. That means whether a coin was struck in Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco, it bore no identifying letter. So if you pick up a 1965 Washington quarter and don't see a mint mark, that's completely normal. But, and this is a big but, some very special versions of this coin, due to unique minting errors or high-quality preservation, have become incredibly rare and valuable. Second, let's talk about how many of these coins were produced. In 1965 alone, over 1.8 billion Washington quarters were struck. That's a staggering number. But the vast majority of those were heavily circulated, banged up, worn down, and spent in everyday transactions for decades. What collectors are looking for today are the survivors, those extremely rare coins that somehow remained untouched, uncirculated, and in mint state condition. Then, we enter the world of mint errors. And this is where things get exciting. Some 1965 quarters were accidentally struck on silver planchets left over from 1964. These planchets were intended for silver coins, not the new copper-nickel design. The result? A silver 1965 quarter, something that should not exist, but does. These coins are incredibly rare and highly sought after. They look different, sound different, and weigh slightly more. A keen eye and a simple scale can help you detect one if you're lucky enough to come across one. Other varieties include off-center strikes, double dies, and planchet errors. These types of mistakes occurred when the machines at the mint didn't align properly, or when the wrong materials were used. These aren't just flaws, they're gold mines for collectors, because each error creates a unique piece that sets it apart from the billions of standard coins. But we haven't even talked about condition yet. When a 1965 Washington quarter is discovered in mint state condition, that is, virtually untouched since the day it left the mint, it can command a huge premium. Even small details like original luster, sharp edges, and lack of surface scratches can turn an average coin into an elite collectible. Professional grading services like PCGS and NGC evaluate coins and assign them a grade on a 70-point scale. A coin graded MS-65, MS-67, or higher is worth significantly more than its lower grade counterpart. And if your coin also includes an error or has a rare metallic composition, the value skyrockets. Now, imagine you find a 1965 Washington quarter with no mint mark, flawless surfaces, full luster, and maybe even a slight error. Maybe it's been sitting in a drawer, or maybe you inherited it in a jar of old change from a relative. You take it to get graded, and it comes back certified as a rare gem. What then? Well, it's time for that reveal you've been waiting for. If you happen to have one of these rare, pristine condition 1965 Washington quarters with no mint mark, especially one with a unique error or struck on a leftover silver planchet, its value could reach a jaw-dropping $97,300. That's right. A coin that once bought a gumball or two could now buy you a luxury car, pay off your college debt, or send you on the vacation of a lifetime. It's a perfect example of why coin collecting isn't just a hobby, it's a thrilling hunt for hidden treasure. So before you spend that old quarter, take a closer look. Check the edges. Weigh it. Compare its appearance to others. You never know what rare gem might be hiding in plain sight. Today, we're venturing into the world of coins that carry stories you'll only encounter in pocket change, and the star of today's show is none other than the United States Washington quarter dollar from 1974, the version without a mint mark. This quarter might look ordinary at first glance, but as we'll uncover, certain examples of this coin could be hiding extraordinary value. Let's paint the backdrop. It's 1974. The US is going through dynamic changes, disco's taking over the airwaves, Watergate is shaking the nation, and the economy is facing inflation. Meanwhile, in Philadelphia, millions of Washington quarters are being struck with a simple, no mint mark designation. Every day, Americans use them at grocery stores, phone booths, parking meters, you name it. Among these countless coins are rare versions that escape circulation perfectly preserved, or with unusual minting quirks that make them unique. Think about the sheer scale. Hundreds of millions of these coins were produced that year. Most were folded into everyday transactions and circulated until their details wore down. But buried among them are hidden gems, quarters that never left the mint set, remained tucked away in safes, or ended up in collectors' hands, maintaining their original shine. These uncirculated pieces are a collector's delight, especially when they escape the wear of daily life. But wait, that's not all. Rarity and value often come from mistakes during the minting process. In 1974, some quarters were accidentally struck on wrong planchets, slightly off-center, or with double die markings. Others show repunched mint marks, even though Philadelphia quarters officially didn't carry them in 1974. A few experimental or error pieces did. These anomalies create coins that are one of a kind. For example, an off-center strike may cut off part of Washington's portrait or the eagle on the reverse, while a double die can show blurry doubled lettering on Liberty or the date. Find one of these? Congratulations, you've discovered a tiny marvel of mint history. Condition remains key. A quarter that has preserved its original luster, sharp design lines, and clean surfaces, free from scratches and handling, can leap from being worth mere face value to becoming a prized collectible. In numismatics, these are labeled mint state, and graded anywhere from MS-60 to MS-70. The higher the grade, the more immaculate the coin. Here's the thing, collectors and investors pay attention to sharpness, eye appeal, and potential errors. If you spot a 1974 Washington quarter with crisp details, bright sheen, and maybe a faint doubling in the letters, you've got something worth investigating. Professional grading can confirm its attributes and open up avenues to sell it to the right audience. Now, let's get to the reveal. What could this coin be worth if you found one with the right combination of grade, condition, and rarity? A flawless, error-free 1974 Washington quarter in mint condition with no mint mark might fetch a few dollars. But a rare, uncirculated quarter with minting anomalies, such as a double die, heavy striking detail, or off-center misalignment, can command an impressive $77,800. In words, Yes, that's right, $77,800 for a single quarter. It's a shocking reminder. Sometimes the most mundane objects hold astonishing value. If you know where to look, the next time you're digging through coin rolls, street change, or uncle's old collection, examine those quarters closely. Look for full, unworn surfaces. Check for doubled or odd-appearing letters. Feel the edges. Really, it could be the beginning of your next great discovery. If you found this deep dive exciting, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more coin mysteries and hidden treasure hunts. And always remember, keep your eyes sharp, your collection's growing, and never underestimate the value of a simple quarter. Today, we are diving deep into a fascinating piece of American coinage, one that may just be lying quietly in your old change jar or tucked away in your grandfather's collection, waiting to surprise you with its incredible value. That's right, we're talking about the United States of America Washington quarter dollar from 1978 with no mint mark. Now, you may be asking yourself, what's so special about a 1978 quarter? It's a fair question. At first glance, this coin might look like any other pocket change. You've likely handled dozens, maybe hundreds of them over the years without a second thought. But let me tell you, if you're lucky enough to own one in exceptional condition or one that includes a rare error, you could be holding onto something far more valuable than just 25 cents. Let's rewind the clock a bit to understand what makes the 1978 Washington quarter so interesting. The 1970s were a transformative time in American history. Culturally, politically, and economically, the nation was changing rapidly. Amid that backdrop, the U.S. Mint continued its mission of striking everyday currency for public use, millions of coins, year after year. But as any seasoned numismatist will tell you, not all coins are created equal. The Washington quarter, introduced in 1932 to commemorate the 200th birthday of President George Washington, became so beloved that it remained in production for decades. By 1978, the quarter had already seen many changes and minting runs. Coins were being struck at multiple facilities: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. But quarters minted in Philadelphia didn't carry a mint mark at the time, which is why your 1978 quarter may show no mint mark at all. Here's where things get more intriguing. Although millions were produced, only a small percentage have survived in high-grade condition. Why? Because quarters were used constantly, at payphones, vending machines, parking meters, laundromats, you name it. They passed through countless hands and saw heavy circulation. Most were scratched, worn, or damaged beyond any collectible interest. But a few, a rare few, escaped this fate. They were preserved, untouched, crisp and clean, with perfect details and brilliant shine. Now imagine discovering one of those rare, untouched specimens. It's like finding a needle in a haystack, but people do find them, and when they do, the value skyrockets. Even more rare are the error coins from 1978. These are quarters that came out of the mint with unintentional but collectible mistakes. Some were struck off-center, some were double-die obverse, where parts of the image appear doubled due to a misalignment during the minting process. Others were struck on planchets meant for other denominations, like dimes or foreign coins. These mint errors are exceedingly rare and are like gold dust to serious collectors. Now let's talk grading. Coin grading is the process of evaluating a coin's condition and assigning it a grade on the Sheldon scale, from 1 to 70. A Washington quarter from 1978 graded MS 65 or higher, that's mint state 65 or above, is considered premium quality. It means the coin looks virtually untouched, with sharp detail, clear luster, and minimal flaws. These are the coins that fetch attention at auctions and among elite collectors. The beauty of coin collecting is that you never know what you might uncover. You could be sitting on an overlooked treasure that's been passed down through your family, or you might find it in the most unexpected place: a flea market, an estate sale, or even your own couch cushions. All it takes is a keen eye, a bit of knowledge, and a spark of curiosity. Now, as we build toward the moment you've all been waiting for, let's reflect on the extraordinary journey of the Washington quarter. It's more than a piece of metal, it's a time capsule. Each quarter is a silent witness to the lives of everyday Americans, to their struggles and their triumphs, their purchases and savings. It represents value in both monetary and historical terms. And sometimes, just sometimes, it represents an actual small fortune. So, how much could your 1978 no-mint mark Washington quarter be worth if it's in pristine, uncirculated condition or contains one of those rare, collectible minting errors? Drumroll please. A top condition 1978 Washington quarter with no mint mark, featuring a recognized error or graded at an exceptional level, could be worth an astounding $87,300. Yes, you heard that right. $87,300 for one quarter. It's not just pocket change, it could be life-changing money. So what are you waiting for? Check your coin jars, your dresser drawers, your old coin albums. Examine your change closely. Because that simple-looking quarter might be more valuable than you ever imagined, and if you love stories like this, if rare coins, hidden gems, and valuable surprises excite you, then be sure to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and tap that bell icon so you never miss a single episode in the world of collectible treasures. Thank you for watching, and as always, happy hunting.